You're not immune to propaganda. Nobody's immune to propaganda.
Well, Matthew Gault, a reporter with 404 Media, has written about online slop in this war. Great to have you, Matthew, on the program.
Thank you so much for having me on. Great to be here.
What a time, what a topic. What stood out to you about these videos?
Um, that they're Lego, that they're effective, that they're AI generated, all of those things kind of stood out to me.
Okay.
The response really, I think, from people in the United States is one of the big like top line things, I think.
So let's talk about the Lego. Like, that
Mhm.
surprised me. I mean, makes you laugh. Why Lego?
A couple different reasons. One, I think that it's iconic and most people know Lego. It's been around for a very long time, and everyone has kind of seen them or played with them. And then I also think that AI generated tools lend themselves to more simpler forms, so it's easier to take like a cartoon or a block or a Lego and make a video with that as your toolkit.
These video makers are fast. Hours after the ceasefire occurred, a video appeared online with Trump sweating, giving in to Iran's plan. Who is the target audience?
Well, I think there's two target audiences, and for a lot of the Lego stuff, the target audience is the United States and its allies, people in the English-speaking world. It's interesting because it's a kind of soft power that like America was pretty good at during the Cold War, but now deployed against America, kind of trying to push public opinion in the United States against the war and against Trump, and just kind of remind people about things like the Epstein files, that Trump has said that this is about oil, et cetera, et cetera. And there are Farsi versions of some of these videos, and those are aimed at a more domestic audience, but they kind of don't break through here.
Okay, so they're trying to target many different places around the world. On the American side, I mean, the White House is putting out some thrillers. I mean, all about Hollywood, video games out there. Why go with that approach?
The White House is maybe not as good at this as some other people are. They're kind of narrow casting. They're putting out memes and videos that are speaking to like not even their entire base, but like a very small portion of their base that is very online and kind of lurks in places like 4chan, people they perceive as helping them get elected and kind of helping them move the message forward. They're really taking like 10-year-old video game connected memes and pop culture stuff and pushing it towards that audience, kind of speaking to people that preaching to the converted, really.
Okay, so it's a very specific audience. It sounds like it's a domestic audience.
Yes, absolutely a domestic audience. They're not America, or the White House rather, is not super interested in changing hearts and minds abroad at all that I've seen.
Um, is it changing hearts and minds in any way? I mean, even the pro-Iranian content?
I think so. I think this stuff is reaching a sympathetic ear in the United States. I think this war was never popular.
Hmm.
I think that people have seen their gas prices increase, and then they see a pretty simple Lego video set to a catchy song that reminds them, there was this thing that you cared about 2 months ago called the Epstein files, and now there's a war and he's distracting you. I think the stuff it lands. I think, it's very shareable, it's very catchy, and I think it is. I wouldn't say it's changing hearts and minds. It's just reminding people of maybe how they already felt.
I've seen researchers talk about, Russia and China amplifying the pro-Iranian messages. How does that complicate the situation?
It's just a reminder that the American people, I think, are a little bit at odds with themselves right now. I've seen Chinese and Russian-backed influencers kind of sharing this stuff online, and they know that the American people are divided and that they're divided against themselves, and they're taking that opportunity to kind of, push the dagger in a little bit. So it's, I think one of the reasons it hits and one of the reasons it's complicated here is because they often aren't telling us things that we don't already know and that maybe aren't a little bit true.
Hmm. Matt, a lot of us look at these videos and laugh, but do you get worried when you look at this content?
I do get worried for a couple different reasons. One, I think that there is that component of it, like I was just saying, that like some of it does hit close to home, some of it feels pretty true. And this America was a country that for a long time kind of banked on being a leader in the world and having a moral high ground, and it feels like that's gone. That is, it's over. You know, as Carney put it so well, like that's punctured, right? It's burst apart, and it's not coming back. And you have videos that really speak to that and kind of are reminding America and the world that that's over. And they're doing it in part just by reflecting the things that our leader is saying, you know?
Matthew, who is winning this online propaganda war?
Iran is winning. Iran is winning the online propaganda war. You know, the White House is communicating to the American public in washed over video game memes from 20 years ago. Iran is communicating to the American people in Lego and using catchy songs, invoking things that about an unpopular president that we all kind of know in our hearts. It's crushing. It's crushing the online propaganda war.
What would you say to people out there who are looking at these things, consuming them constantly? What would you warn them about?
You're not immune to propaganda. Nobody's immune to propaganda, whether it comes from the White House or comes from Iran, even if it's civilians in Iran. Just people are trying to influence you at all times, and just kind of take a step back from that, especially if it's something that you enjoy or think is funny. Like that's a it's a good time to remember that you should just take a breath and like really think about what you're seeing and who's telling it to you.
Yeah, the funny things can almost sanitize our minds to a certain extent. Matthew,
It's
great to
meant
have
to
you.
disarm.
Meant to disarm, yeah. Matthew, great to have you on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me.